Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those of you who don't know me or do know me, I'm Leon. I'm the trainer here over at Back to Basics Dog Training. And each and every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, I bring you this live free dog training Q&A session where no questions are off limits regarding the training of your furry family members. With that being said, I am so excited to also announce I am going to be broadcasting live every Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to hopefully get the word out there more and help more dogs. As you all know, my motto is together we can help one dog and one family at a time. So by doing it during the week and later at night, hopefully we can hit more people around the country and around the world to get them to join us and ask questions that can help their furry family members. Good morning, Terry. Thank you for popping in and saying hi. And those of you who are watching, please put a comment in. Let me know that you're watching. Give me a shout out. Let me know where you're watching from. It does my heart wonders when I see that stuff pop up. So that can definitely help me. So for those of you who are new here, I always start off with the topic of the week. And then, of course, if questions come in, I stop what I'm doing once I finish the trend of thought, and we answer your questions. And like I said, no questions are off limits, guys. So fire away. I'm excited when I see questions. Rocky Point. I'm hoping you head back up there sometime in end of January, February, which I'm not looking forward to because of the winter. But we got work to do up there to help some dogs out. So we'll hopefully be back up in that area. Yeah, like I said, probably end of January, sometime in February. Um, Thank you from Melbourne. Lisa, welcome to the show. Um, so the topic of the week, I got a great question. Guys, I encourage this, and I'll put my information up there in a little bit. Hello, Danielle. I hope I said that right, from West Islip. Got a lot of my Long Island folks here. Um, I always encourage guys, even if you catch us now, live or later on in the replay, shoot me an email with your questions during the week, because this way I have something I can talk about that can help you guys. Hello, Lauren from Smithtown. Wow, got definitely a Long Island crew going here. So how this works is if I'll put my information up here now. Let's get it out of the way if I can find it. There I am. You can always text or email me questions later on during the week, and I will get to them all. And we'll try our best to answer them. So the question this week was, and it's something that I really realized I was neglecting to go through in some of our weekly sessions here, is about commands. And people are like, what about commands? Yeah, I subscribe to the KISS theory of training, and it's simply state, keep it simple, stupid. Stop giving so many commands to your dogs. When you're dealing with unwanted behaviors, remember, we're talking about behaviors versus obedience a lot. When we talk about unwanted behaviors, keep it simple. We don't want the dog jumping on us. It's not off. It's no. We don't want the dog chewing our shoes or taking our, underwear or whatever. It's not leave it. It's no. Keep it simple. Let's simplify things for our dogs so they understand that no is the universal word for an unwanted behavior. We tend to use too many words in what we do. So if a dog is on the furniture and we don't want him on the furniture, off, down, whatever, and dog, okay. But if we don't want him on the furniture and we never want him on the furniture, that's no. Good morning, Marie from upstate New York. Happy New Year to you and yours, and Mike. Miss you guys. So when you're saying or trying to teach your dog how to get rid of an unwanted behavior, be it jumping on your guest, overexcitement, getting into the garbage, counter surfing, whatever it may be, stop with all the unnecessary words. Create one discipline word for any unwanted behavior. So we're going to use puppies as the example. Puppy chews shoes. Most puppies go after the shoes. They do. What do we say? Leave it. Leave it to me is a temporary thing. Leave it is leave it. You can have it later. I would do that with their food. If they're overexcited to eat, I would be leave it because I'm going to give it to them eventually. So if you think of the human psychology on it, leave it as a temporary thing. So in our minds, when we're saying that, leave it, we're talking a temporary thing. If you never want your puppy to chew the shoes, which I never want them to, it's no, because no is final. You're never allowed to do this again. That's why I don't use no for barking, because I want dogs to bark. Um, I use different commands for that. But if you never want your dog to do this X behavior, one sound, no, no, pay, whatever discipline sound you're going to use, and make the discipline sound uncomfortable. So if dog is jumping on my guests when they come in or overexcited when my guests come in, I'm going to have the dog on a leash, of course. And then when they get overly excited on their own, because we're not asking them to get excited, I'm going to pop the leash. Again, the pop of the leash is not designed to scare or hurt the dog. At the same time, I'm going to say my discipline sound, no. So this way they get that uncomfortable feeling as they're hearing that sound, no, and they're going to associate that sound, no, with being uncomfortable, and eventually they stop. Now, the important thing with saying the no, which is really, really important, and making the no's uncomfortable, because I'm going to tell you now, most of my customers that I work with, and I'm going to say probably 98 to 99% of the dogs I work with don't understand that no is actually a bad thing. Because they hear it, no, 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 but they still do the unwanted behavior, and there's no consequence for the unwanted behavior. It's just a sound. It's an annoying sound, but they're not going to stop. It's like having children and saying, no, you can't go out. But the kid goes out anyway, and you know it. They come home and no consequence happens. Your no's don't mean anything. They're not relevant. So next time you say, no, you can't go out, the kid's not even going to think twice. They're just going to go out because nothing bad or uncomfortable happened to them. Remember, when I talk discipline in human world and dog world does equal love, guys. It's real important. Dogs discipline each other, same way parents discipline children, not to hurt or scare, not to put the fear into them, to show them love, because discipline is important. But as important as that sound, that discipline sound, no, no, whatever word we're going to use, the most important thing is to do your follow-up to turn the no into a yes. So we're going to use the dog jumping on our guests. Somebody rings the doorbell, dog gets excited, we correct. Finally, the dog's state of mind calms down. Yes. Ring the doorbell again. You'll see each time that excitement won't last as long, so we can get to opening the door quicker. We can get to inviting our guests in quicker. We can get to having a conversation with our guests. How many people here have, guests come over and the dog barks for the first 15 minutes? The people are there. You can't even hold a conversation. And if you do, you're shouting. And I don't know, but I don't like people coming into my home and then there's a lot of shouting because I'm trying to out-bark my dog. Because in reality, when the dog is barking and we're shouting, we're barking in their mind. So we're just joining into the fun. We need to learn to stop that. So what if the barking happened when in the home, when other dogs are walking by or barking outside? Okay, so again, that's a great question, Terry. And dogs should bark. They should be. There are a watch system. There are watchdogs. There are a home alarm system. So I never want to discourage barking, but I do need to teach them that barking is not to go overboard. So let me explain what I mean by that. So a dog is walking by. Oh, that's good, Tracy, that your dog doesn't bark ever. Sometimes, like I said, I like dogs barking because if somebody's checking out my neighborhood and they're looking at what house to break into. If dogs are barking, they're not going to break into your home, because most people that want to break into homes don't want to deal with the dog. They want easy in and easy out. The dog doesn't make it easy. Um, so what I do when I have dogs that bark at everything on the street is, again, I'm not going to say no to that, because no to me is always final. You're never allowed to do it. So what I'm going to do is set them up for success. I'm going to ask a neighbor or a friend or somebody to have their dog outside and walk past my house. I'm going to have my dog on a leash, and I'm going to let them bark a little bit. Whatever you decide is an appropriate amount of barking. And then I'm going to use a discipline correction, but with an obedience word, which is enough. So I'm going to do enough. Good. So I'm saying it's okay to bark, but when I say enough, enough is enough. Thanks for doing your job. I have it from here. He doesn't bark when people come to the door. Just, well, he wants to play with all the other dogs. But again, you're allowed to say it. So if a dog is barking, your dog barks. And the complex I live in here, I hear it. I walk Zoe all over the place, and I hear dogs barking, 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 barking. And to me, it's annoying. To Zoe, it's annoying. But Zoe won't do that. Why? Because she knows I don't need her on guard for another dog outside. She'll bark when somebody's in the hallway or knocks on our door or something. That's fine. I have no problem with it. But again, I let her bark to a certain point, and then I'm like, enough. Now, I wish she did. I don't know how she was treated before I rescued her. Yeah, again, we don't know why. And that's the problem. People, have to understand that dogs bark. That's what they do. And certain breeds don't. There's a Basenji dog that I think they say doesn't bark. I think Shiba Inus don't bark either, but I'm not sure about that. But people get mad at their dogs. They get frustrated. Shut up! And the dog actually becomes fearful of barking. And again, we don't know the dog's history, and it's kind of hard to figure this out. It's hard to encourage barking. I've never had anybody ask me to encourage barking. Wouldn't even know how to get them to start barking. But usually if they don't bark, it's because more of a fear factor. Something may have happened in their past. They may have gotten yelled at, hit, abused, or whatever when they bark, so they just don't bark anymore. One of the suggestions, Tracy, I would make is maybe knock on the door, make it, as much as I hate excitement, make it excitement. Just so if she barks, that's okay. And then just good, enough, and everything, guys, remember, I would say the 3 C's, which is the calm, confidence, gets control. I'm going to add a 4th C into that this week, which is consistency. So calm, confidence, being consistent gets you to control. So the 4 C's, we're changing that up a little bit, because the consistency on anything we talk about is what's important. So if the dog is barking at other dogs outside, if we stay consistent every single time we're there with them and we're working with them, again, I set up for success. How do I set up for success? Is I would ask somebody to walk past my house with a dog. And then what happens when, next question would be is, what happens when I don't have a leash on the dog? That's why, if you notice, guys, when I do this, a lot of times I'll be like, I'll snap my fingers. The object of the pop of the leash, the snap of the fingers, clap of the hands, whatever it may be, is to unlock the dog's brain. There's a dog outside. There's a dog outside. I got to bark. And that's what all they're focusing on. So the snap of the fingers, the clap of the hands, or the pop of the leash is to unlock the brain. So they say, what? And you want them to look at you for guidance. So by looking at you for guidance, now you can say, enough. Thanks for doing your job. I got it from you. I'm saying it's okay for that dog to be outside. But you're not saying no, because remember, no is you're never going to do it again, and I'm going to teach you a better way to do it. So we're going to turn no's into yeses. We can turn the enough. Enough is close to no, but we're going to let them bark a little bit. Remember, again, it's a psychological thing, how we think. To me, no is final. You're never allowed to do it. No, you're never allowed to drink and drive. Simple. You're never allowed to do it. And if you do, there's going to be a consequence. And that's what our dogs have to understand. When we say no, you're never allowed to do that behavior, and there's going to be a consequence when you do. Again, consequences should never hurt or scare your dog. Being punished when I grew up, being grounded didn't hurt me, didn't scare me. Kind of taught me that, hey, don't make that same mistake twice. And that's the purpose of doing discipline to our dogs. So they don't make the same mistake twice. If the dog is leash reactive, you're allowed to say no. You're allowed to say no to insecurity if you don't think that insecurity is warranted. So if the dog is afraid because a leaf flew by it, well, that's irrational. No, don't be afraid of that, pal. I got you here. That leaf isn't going to hurt you. But if you're anything but that calm confidence, you're never going to get the control. And if you don't stay consistent, you're never going to communicate properly to your dog. The consistency is no, you can't go out to your child. No, you can't go out to your child. They're good. No, you can't go out. They go out, they get punished, they sneak out the next time and nothing happens. You're not consistent. And dogs understand consistency. In the pack structure of a dog, there's always consistency. And there's always a balance. And it's a great, great thing for them to understand. And we need to teach them and guide them. Not even teach them, we're guiding them on a journey. And I talk about this journey all the time. Every time I work with a new dog, it's a journey I go on with them. And journeys are supposed to be enjoyable. So training should never be a stress factor. But that's, again, goes back to now the 4 C's: calm, confidence, the consistency to get the control we need. There is no reason for dogs to be leash reactive. There is no reason for dogs to be insecure or scared of things. Regardless of what happened in their past, we can move them forward as long as we don't live in their past. So guys, let me know in the comments if this makes sense what I'm saying, especially when it comes to the barking. Too many people yell at their dogs for barking. Dogs fence bark. They want to play. They're barking at the fence, and we're sitting out on our decks yelling at them, shut up, shut up, shut up. We're just barking. As far as they're concerned, we're barking alongside them. So if you notice, and if you ever have a neighbors that dogs do that at the fence, if you listen to them shouting, shut up, the louder they yell, shut up, the louder the dogs go. And I've seen it 100 times, 1,000 times. Why? Because you're barking along with them. That's why it's so important. Come up with a disciplined word. Again, if they're fence fighting, whatever, you can say no to that because that you never want. There's a difference. Dog on the other side of the fence doesn't mean bark. You're allowed to communicate that to them. That's not the enough command. That's a no. And that's what I trained my dogs when we lived up on Long Island. We had the fence. We had neighbors who had dogs. No, you're not allowed to bark at this fence, ever. That's not your job. They're in their yard. We're in our yard. They're fine. Leave them alone. But I got off my deck. I walked over to the fence and I controlled the fence line. And it was work. Because their natural thing was, that dog's barking at me, I'm going to bark back. I can, like I said, we walk around here, dogs bark at Zoe all the time. Either the dog's on the leash, they're in their units or whatever. Dogs are barking. Zoe does not pay attention to them whatsoever. But it took work. Bergen is reactive to people. She barks at everyone when she's in the car or the yard only. We jerk the leash and tell her no, but not working. Good morning, Michelle, Rob, Athena, and Bergen. My question would be, are you e-collar conditioning Bergen the way we did with Athena? I would definitely consider doing that because this way you have some remote, you're in the car, it's hard to pop a leash. But you can do e-collar corrections if you're using the e-collar with her. But again, you got to remember, guys, on that 0 to 10 scale, 0 being asleep, 10 being crazy, Satan's child, whatever. And that could be excitement, aggression. So I just call it a stupidity scale. The higher they go on that scale, the higher your correction needs to be. So if they're at a 5 and you're correcting at a 3, that correction means absolutely nothing. Okay. If the collar on the vibration is effective, use it. Set her up for success. Get her in the car, drive around, do it with Rob because this way it's safer. No, no, no. But keep in mind, the higher she goes, she may not feel that vibration if she's too jacked up. So again, it's always looking for the early signs. Because again, I'd rather stop a dog at a level 3 than a level 5. So if I was doing this with Bergen, I'd be in the car, somebody else would be driving. Right, treats will work. So what she says is we also give treats when she sees someone, and it works if you get her before that threshold. Because once they get to a certain threshold, the treats don't mean anything. Because again, they got that tunnel vision. I got to get that. I got to get that. And I've worked with dogs where I could have taken raw meat, waved it in front of the face. They're not going to give a crap. That's why I always say, if you catch them before that threshold, it's so much easier. So if I was working with Bergen, I'd put her in the car, I'd have somebody else driving, I'd be watching for those little signs. Oh, I'm seeing somebody. No, no, with the remote. To break that cycle before it escalates. Because once it starts escalating, guys, it is so hard to control. You know, and they have to go through it. They need to go through it. It's like a dog I worked with not too long ago who was terrified of the crate for whatever reason. But the owners needed, the parents needed the dog in the crate. And she threw a temper tantrum like you would not believe. I mean, the buck and bronco, alligator, death roll, the whole 9 yards. All I was trying to do was get her in the crate. I let her go through it. And then once I saw her mind calm down, which means now I'm starting to get some of that control, I guided her into the crate. As a matter of fact, I'm going to follow up with them today because I think that I want to find out how that's going. But it's all about stopping things before they escalate. If again, using that 0 to 10 scale, if you wait till they're at a 5 to start your corrections, it's so much harder to make the correct correction. I always say, the average dog lover, doggy parent, can correct their dog at a 4 or 5, maybe. Why would I ever let it get higher than that? Personally, I'd rather you guys try to stop it earlier. It's like when I talk about leash reactivity. Dogs just don't go like that. There's always a warning. We just got to see it. And usually the ears are the telltale sign. Ears change position. That means they're thinking they're gonna react to something. So the dogs I work with that are leash reactive, I look for the early signs and I don't wait for the explosion, because if I wait for the explosion, they're too high. It makes it harder for me to correct them. And the amount of correction, leash pop or whatever I would have to use would have to beat that intensity. So if they're at a 7, I need to correct at an 8. I don't ever want to correct the dog at that with that much effort. That's a lot of work. I don't want to work that hard. I'm lazy. So I always look for the earliest signs of what I'm looking to correct, for lack of better terms, to guide them, to teach them, hey, you're never allowed to get past this level. How did I, when I lived up on Long Island, was I able to board and have 10 plus dogs sometimes in my house and not have the chaos? Because in the house and in the yard, I never let them get above a 3. In the house, I didn't even let them get to a 3. So I never let that excitement level get too high, because once they get too excited, it's hard to control them. It's like dealing with kids in a playground when they're running around, they're playing with their friends, and they're all jacked up, and we're like, come on, we got to go. No, I don't want to. That's what the dog does. But the kid, you walk over and grab them and say, we're leaving. The dogs, we seem to let them do it. And as hard as I try, and I tell you guys week in, week out, don't let levels get high. If you're gonna, first of all, dogs should never get excited on their own. They should only get excited when they have permission to get excited. So a dog should never initiate play with me. If they do, I don't play. I stop it. And then when I want to play, I let them play. But when I let them play, I look at that 0 to 10 scale. I let them get up to a certain level. I stop it at that level. And then my job before play ends is to bring them all the way back to that state of calm that I want, that calm state of mind. Because remember, physically, I'm not going to go control these dogs. Michelle's dogs are big. I can't physically control them, but I can mentally control them. And that's part of the now 4 C's, the calm confidence and the consistency. I'm consistent. When I'm working with your dogs or my dogs or whatever, I am consistent. If I say no once, I mean it. It's not, if I say you're not allowed on my bed, you're not allowed on my bed ever. Not, I don't feel like fighting with you today. You can come up here. Think about what we send to the signals we send to the dogs. We're not communicating properly. And if we don't learn how to communicate properly in a language they understand, that's why they act the way they do. That's why, with all the dogs I've had in my life, I've never had a dog be leash reactive. I've never had a dog react to people. I've never had a dog go after another dog. It's all about staying calm, confident, and that consistency is so crucial to having the control. We have Luna. Good morning, Lisa. We have Luna for 2 months. She is so sweet in the house, but outside she lunges and snaps at people. She is worse when with me than my husband. Border Terrier from a rescue. Okay, so again, Lisa, I don't know if you've watched me before. Definitely go to my YouTube channel. It's back, which way? This way. Back to Basics Dog Training on YouTube. Look for the logo. I think the logo is up there. There's a playlist, it's called How to Leash Train My Dog in 5 Easy Steps. It's about mastering the walk. So the reason she responds to your husband is, and if you didn't catch it, my contact information is on the bottom of the screen over here. Reach out to me, text me, or email me, and I will send you the links to these pages, to the page or the channel or whatever the hell it's called. But first of all, the walk always needs to start off calm. The reason she may listen to your husband more than you is it's all about energy. I'm going to put that caption up there for a second. Hopefully everybody got my contact information. The energy is the most important form of communication we have with our dogs. The way we communicate, if I'm calm, my dog is calm. It's that simple. If I'm nervous because I see a person, my dog's going to get nervous. So your husband may naturally be calmer than you. I don't know him. Or he's physically able to handle the dog, which is a temporary fix. Again, I'm not there. So how I would do it, again, I look for word signs. One, if I have a dog that's leash reactive, it's not about giving them 6 feet of freedom, or worse, those retractable leashes. No, if I have a dog that's reactive, they stay on a very short leash. They're staying with me on my side, together with me. I don't give them a lot of freedom at that point. And then we're walking, a nice calm walk, no tension on my leash. I see the person. Usually we see him before the dog does. And then as humans do, we tend to start tensing up. Oh my God, there's a person there. We're going to get, you're prepared for a war before the battle before it even started. So what I tell people to do is at that point, start watching. Look at your dog. See the behavior change. You'll see it. All of a sudden, maybe they're walking and they've got that strut going, and all of a sudden you see, boom, right there, you're correct. No, sit, give them something else to do. You stop your walk. Tell the people don't approach, because your dog, if they're reacting to people, is usually out of fear. And I'm going to guess it is. I mean, I don't know the dog, but that's what I've experienced. So tell people don't approach. It's okay. You're allowed to say that. Dog's in training. She's in training. I can't, right now, I got to understand that people represent calm. And then watch her state of mind. If she's doing the death stare to these people, correct her again. Say, no, that's unacceptable. Focus on me, kid. I'm never going to put you in a bad position. Don't worry about it. But again, calm confidence. Then you don't move forward on your walk if she's doing one of these. Look at where that person went. Where'd that person go? Where'd that person go? Where'd that person go? Because the mind's not focused yet. You have to wait till you get back to zero calm, and then you continue your walk. But you do this slowly, and you use your friends and your family members to help you on the other side of the street. Keep everybody safe. Start walking, they're coming towards you. Watch your dog. Boom, no. And it takes time, and that's the consistency part. But it's going to start with you, your energy, calm confidence. Terry asks, can you recommend a harness for walking? Ace is strong puller and excited. He's 55 pounds. I don't recommend harnesses. I don't ever recommend harnesses. Harnesses, guys, were designed for tracking and pulling purposes. So I know there's a lot of misconceptions about them. There's a lot of things out there that say they're good. To me, anytime I put something on the strongest part of the dog's body, which is that chest area, I'm not helping them. Harnesses are great for seatbelts them into the car. I always recommend a martingale collar, which is a brand of collar that doesn't slip over the dog's head if they back out. Slip leash, simple things. Because again, if Ace is a strong puller and excited, go to my YouTube channel, watch that YouTube series of how to leash train my dog in 5 easy steps. Because if they're pulling on the walk, that means they're excited before the walk starts. And if the walk is excited, but the moment they see the leash, you take the leash out, you're in your living room, you take the leash out, and the dog gets excited, and you put the leash on the dog, you're rewarding the excitement. Then you continue to go, and the dog is still excited. Now they get outside, they're even more excited because there's more stimulus out there, and then good luck controlling it. But if we break it down, that's why I broke the mastering the walk down to 5 steps. If you can start by putting the leash on the dog when the dog's in a calmer state of mind, you're rewarding the calm, not the excitement. And then episode 2, threshold management. The dog sitting calmly with the door open, waiting to be invited outside, not coming out like a bull in a china shop. They're waiting calmly, and they walk through that threshold calm. We're ahead of the game. But if you can't master that, once we get outside and there's other stimulus, smells, people, cars, dogs, kids on bikes, or whatever it is, their mind is so far gone, it's too hard to control it. So what I'll do, guys, is after we get off here and this thing uploads to my Facebook pages and Remember Me Rescues Facebook pages, I will post a link to my YouTube channel in the comments. Go on, subscribe. The playlist is How to Leash Train My Dog in 5 Easy Steps. I strongly, strongly recommend master episode 1 before you go to episode 2. Master episode 2 before you go to episode 3. The walk that I designed, and anybody who's on here right now watching that I've worked with or has followed those steps, please put your comments in, is designed about structure and leadership. It's not about boom, freedom. No, it's about structure and leadership. It's about the bonding experience walking. And I set it up that way on purpose because every step, all 5 steps of the walk, is based on calm confidence. State of mind being calm because the energy is so important. If I can control their energy and I can stay calm and I can keep them calm, also in that walk that we all dread with these dogs becomes enjoyable. And that's what the walk should be. It should be an enjoyable thing. I always say the part of the leash that I hold next to the dog's collar should be like holding my wife's hand when we're walking down the street. That's how relaxed it should feel. If it's not, we're doing something wrong. If I got that leash wrapped around my hand till my knuckles are turning white, I'm doing something wrong. If I'm walking with my arms bent like I'm a robot, I'm doing something wrong. That means my energy is not in check and I'm waiting for something to happen that I don't know is going to happen. Again, with the harnesses, I truly don't recommend them. The other tool that I'm not as versed in is something called the gentle leader that goes over the dog's snout somehow. And, if you control the head, you control the body. On a harness, guys, when you go to make a correction with a harness, think about what we're doing. We got a 100-pound dog here. You're correcting to make that leash pop the entire body of the dog. Well, I don't need to control the whole body. I just need to control the mind. So that's why I like collars high up on the, behind the ears, slip leashes, martingales. The gentle leader goes over the muzzle, and when you make your correction, it gets them to turn their focus somewhere else. Um, I'm not. I've used them a couple of times. There are some drawbacks to that too. To me, the simplest tools are martingale collar, slip leash, even a prong collar. Prong collars are not that bad, guys, if used properly. No tool will ever hurt your dog if used properly. Um, there's nothing wrong with educating yourself on the proper use of the tools, but I never would recommend the harness for a puller because, again, harnesses were originally designed to pull, to pull carts, to pull plows on the bigger dog, whatever it was, for the bloodhound sniffing out a criminal. That's what they were designed for. So I kind of never recommend a harness for that, unless a vet tells me the dog has a trachea issue, and then all bets are off and we come up with other solutions. If the dog doesn't have a trachea issue and it's pulling so hard it's choking itself, it's not too smart. But I will almost 99% guarantee, Terry, if you follow what I say on those videos, you will see a change in your dog's excitement on the walk because you're going to disagree with the excitement. And you're going to reward the calm. No part of the walk ever gets going if they're excited. No part of the walk, if I'm walking and they get excited, do I continue walking? I stop, wait till the state of mind changes, and then I continue. I always look for the state of mind because, again, a 100-pound dog pulling is like a 200-pound dog. I mean, they're strong. I'm getting old. I can't control that anymore. So what I do look to do is control it with my energy and always reward the calm. No part of the walk, from the time I take the leash out to the time I get back home and take the leash off, is ever based on excitement. It's always based on being calm. So even coming back in the house, I don't drop the leash and say, go to the door and make it all excitement because I don't want any excitement. I walk the dog to the door. I walk into the house first. I invite them in calmly. I make them sit calmly so I can take the leash off. Every part of the walk is based on calm. They'll be happier. You'll be happier. Your neighbors will be happier, especially if they're barkers and they lunge at everything. It's real important that we base everything. Yeah, Terry, great question again. Do I recommend starting in the yard? Absolutely. And the reason I recommend starting in your yard with that structure that I set up on that YouTube playlist is to build your confidence. To build your confidence. Because a lot of dogs think that backyard, their yard is theirs, not yours. So the yard represents excitement. Well, if you can control the excitement, you can't control the excitement in the outside world unless you can control the excitement on the inside world. So and always remember, guys, don't forget to breathe. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, like my mom said, breathe in the roses. Blow out the candles. Now I center my energy. I'm calm. Let's go. But it's based on you. You control your energy. You stay, now 4Cs. I got to get used to it. Calm, confidence. With that consistency, gives you that control. Start in your yard. Because the beauty of working in your yard too, especially if it's a fenced-in area where they're safe and they're secure and they can't get out, is if they pull too hard because they see the squirrel, you drop the leash, you don't get hurt. So it builds up your confidence. Anything to build up your confidence, you should do. I've told people to do episode 2, threshold management, 100 times before you even think about going for your walk. And I know I told Michelle here when when we were working with Athena, even if you walk from your gate in the backyard to the end of her driveway and back, and it's controlled, that's a win. Doesn't mean because we're working on mastering the walk that we have to go to, 2 miles. No, it could just be the end of the driveway. It could just be in front of my own house. It doesn't matter as long as it's about the structure and the confidence, because it works. But it's baby steps. Don't try to run the marathon without warming up first. Doesn't work. Lisa, you're quite welcome. So again, guys, remember we started off the conversation. When you're disciplining your dog or want to stop the unwanted behavior, come up with one discipline sound, word. No, nope, hey, whatever sound or word you want to use. One for any unwanted behavior. That's a behavior you never ever want to happen again. If you can control that, you're quite welcome, Terry. Help, guys. Anybody who I gave advice to, please try to tune in this week, next Saturday at 11 o'clock, or remember Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing this again, so you can always join me there. But people I give advice to, please shoot me a comment next week or during the week, or come on, join us live, and let me know how it's working for you. Because that's the important part to me, is that what I'm saying, what I'm bringing to you each and every week, and now it's going to be twice a week, is helpful. If it's not helpful, I need to come up with a better way to help you. And if anybody needs anything more finite, because right now I'm bouncing all over the place, I can always do Zoom training sessions with you. It's a very economical way of training because it's about understanding the psychology of your dog. It's not about me physically being there. And if we can focus for that hour and a half to 2 hours on your issues with your dog for an economical price, we're all better for it. So anybody who's interested in the Zoom, I'm going to put my contact information up here again. And we can always set that up. But please, people, feel free to try to reach out to me. Texting is always the best. Phone number 631-514-9128. Or you can email me at info@backtobasicsdogtraining.com. It's kind of behind my head here. Well, that one's Leon. You can use that one too. But please feel free to reach out to me. We can always, help you out via Zoom if we're not in the same area, to do one live, one-on-one private sessions. With that being said, guys, this was a great week. I love the questions, ladies. Thank you very much for all the questions. That's what makes my weekend so special. When I know we're getting the questions, we're having this interaction. I try to be as transparent as possible with you guys. So remember, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, I'll be doing this again. So if you have any follow-ups to those questions, join me. If not, please remember, share my information out with your friends and family around the country, around the world. The more people we get on here, the more questions we get. The more questions we get, the more dogs we can help. To help me live up to my dream of together we can help one dog and one family at a time, which is so important to me. So please remember to share my information with your friends and family around the country, around the world. Share it on different groups you're part of, whatever. Every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to bring this live free Q&A dog training session, and we're going to get into and help these dogs. So with that being said, Nancy, working on walking the pup your way with my 5. How's it going? I know you emailed me and said it was going pretty well. I don't know if you've been on since the beginning, Nancy. We did talk about some of the discipline sounds. Great, Terry. I'm glad. Remember, I'm actually an admin on Remember Me Rescue, so everything I do live will be on their site as well. But please find my Back to Basics page, because I put more information on my Back to Basics page of new things I'm going to be doing. And it's simple. It's Back to Basics Dog Training SC for South Carolina. And again, anybody who's interested in getting me, I can text you or email you the links. Please feel free to reach out to me at either one of these ways here. I will send you the link so you're part of my page, which is when I come up with things and different things I do. I haven't been posting recently. I'm going to start really trying to get into it for 2023 again, putting tips out there weekly, things I've been seeing and observing. So it'll be more on my Facebook page because it's easier for me to just do one. which is Back to Basics Dog Training SC for Facebook. It's going pretty well. We need to improve with distractions on the walk, but if they are not, she's good, good. And the distractions, again, look for the little signs. As soon as you start seeing the change, nope, disagree. Calm the mind down, continue. We did talk about the discipline sounds and too many words. Off, leave it, drop it, whatever, whatever, whatever. If it's an unwanted behavior, no. So I hope that helped you out, Nancy. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to change the captions again. Please feel free to reach out to me at the information I have on the screen. But we're going to start wrapping up because we're at the 45-minute mark. I hope everybody had a pleasant new year. And with that being said, guys, thank you for inviting me into your home each and every Saturday morning. It is truly an honor and a privilege to bring this to you. Now we're going to do it twice. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. As always, stay healthy, stay safe, God bless, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Hopefully we'll see you Tuesday night. If not, we'll see you next Saturday at 11 a.m.